So you see, to review the wheels, what happens if the wheel is slip or no slip? So review wheel. So in the rigid body kinematics 2 and 3, you study the wheels and the case of no slip and slipping. How is the relationship between the acceleration and angular acceleration, velocity and angular velocity, and friction, etc. So now I just want to review, because in kinetics similarly you have many problems that involve the wheels. It can be slip or no slip, and sometimes you have to assume no slip wheel, etc. So with that, let's continue here before we do the problem 4 in the force acceleration 1 when you have the wheel involved. So let's talk about review the wheel, and 2 scenarios that we are talking is no slip. What do we have when the wheel is no slip? And what do we have when we have the wheel is in fact slipping? So 2 scenarios. So the wheel we have here. So this concept is extremely important. This concept is extremely important. Keep that in mind. Don't forget, go back to review this. So let's say the wheel rolling on a fixed ground, fixed surface. And if you know this point is a PC, point of contact. PC, point of contact. Not personal computer in this class, right? Points of contact. So with that, when we have, you can have a center is mass center in this case, and the center of the wheel is, let's call that EO, center EO. So if, for example, in this case, I assume the both wheel is moved to the right, so the center O velocity, and you can see VO move to the right, and even slip wheel is also moved to the right. And it don't need to be the acceleration also the same as velocity. For example, I assume the wheels in decelerating, so you will have the acceleration of the wheels is opposite of the motion AO, acceleration opposites of the motion AO. So that nothing new, and O maintain parallel to the surface. So it, and you can see VO and AO always parallel to the surface at the center. So with that, we want to know what is the alpha, what is omega, and how that relate to VO and AO. So V omega consistent with V. So if V move to the right, so you have omega, it will be clockwise, omega, it will be clockwise. So no change, same, right, between slipping and no slipping. And then we also have the alpha for the no slip. If it deaccelerates, so it will be alpha counterclockwise, alpha counterclockwise. So now this is going to be the difference between slip and no slip wheel. So if it no slip wheel, very important, what do we have? We have A of the center, it will be equal to alpha R. R is the radius of the wheel. But if slipping wheel, you don't have that. Slipping wheel, you don't have that. So in that case, you have A0 is not the same as alpha R. So if slipping wheel, you don't have that equation. That's why when you give the wheel, you need to know whether the body is actually slipping or no slip wheel, so that you have the equation correctly. And then similarly, we have VO, the velocity at the center, is equal to omega R. But for slipping wheel, you don't have that. Not omega R. And then if it no slip, if you recall, the friction force in the contact the friction force in the contact. So it's here. You see that friction there, friction there is unknown, and it's less than mu sub Sn. So you will have friction force here, the friction. Let's put F here, so we the same. It's less than or equal to mu sub Sn, and is the normal force. And in this case, for the no slip, the direction is unknown. That one is direction. You don't know that direction unknown, and the magnitude unknown. So you just go ahead to assume direction, and whatever find out, if it's negative, then opposite to your assumed direction. If it's slipping, then it moves to the Ff equal to, remember slipping, we have it friction load curve, if you recall in friction class, mu sub k n. And direction, we know it opposite to the motion at the point of contact. Opposite direction. Opposite. Okay, let's say oppose. Oppose the motion, not the overall motion, not point at the point of contact PC. At motion of PC, point of contact. So for example here, if that is the case, then the FF move forward, because as you can see at point of contact, the motion, it will be moved to the left, the friction move to the move front. That's why it make the body moving. So that is basically the reveal wheel between no slip and slipping wheel. What do you have, what you don't have? Keep that in mind. Only when the body in no slip, you have A0 at the center, AO equal to alpha, velocity at the center of the wheel equal to omega r. Friction unknown, direction unknown magnitude, but for sure you have to check it have to be less than mu sub Sn. For slipping, the friction is equal to mu sub Kn, and you know the direction opposed to the motion at PC, not the overall direction of the motion of the wheel. And you don't have a acceleration at the center equal to alpha r. You also don't know velocity at the center of the wheel equal to omega r. With that, move to problem